All right, welcome back, everyone. It's lovely to have you back. And let's go straight into the superpower state. So take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer, and go into your superpower state, however you do that. So using your word or phrase or your anchor, or by thinking about hugging someone you love or something you love. Focusing in on all the things you love and appreciate about that subject. And start to feel your heart opening, that expansion feeling in your chest. And allow that light or energy to shine out from you, shining out from your heart. And now allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love. And now allow that light or energy to fill each of the cells of your body. Love each cell just for existing. Very, very good. And now think of the little you, yourself as a child in front of you, and fill that little you with that same light, that energy. Love that little you just for existing. Very good. And now allow that light or energy to overflow from that little you and fill your whole childhood. Shining that light into any darkness, loving everything, everyone, every circumstance, every event, exactly as it is. Good job. And now allow that light or energy to fill each person in the group today. Everyone who's on camera, everyone who's off camera. Love each one just for existing. Very, very good. All right, you can open your eyes and let's check in with each person, find out how you're doing. So Chris, let's start with you. You're first up on my screen. How are you today? Lovely to see you.
Very well.
Good.
Well, I was saying I caught a lot of yesterday. Unfortunately, I came late and I didn't have the opportunity to wave my flag. But it wasn't a lovely opportunity to be with others and listening to what they're going through and how they're managing it and how you took them through it. That was really, really good. I was saying to Steve, it was so good to see you in action on the very basic work of that's that memory. Now change it. Now repeat it 3 times. I felt that was very valuable. Going back to basics. There we are.
Yes. Oh, good. I'm so glad. Yes, because Sylvie had let me know that with that particular group, she hadn't done the memory changing stuff. She hadn't introduced that to them yet. They've just been doing the superpower. That's what her group was focused on, which was the original intention of ours as well, yes. But we couldn't not because it was so, came up so much. So it was, she had given them a little bit of information and basics. So yes, I needed to do it at a more basic level, which was, as you say, fantastic
really valuable.
For a refresher and also for anyone new watching the recording. So I'm so glad you liked that. Good.
Thank you. And I will go off early to collect the baby, which is wonderful. So I'll leave a little intention with Steve, please.
All right. Lovely.
Thank
yes.
Just nice. Good to be here. Thank you. And be with everyone.
And it's lovely to have you with us as well. Chris, you have such a beautiful, shiny presence, and we love having you with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
good. All right. And then, and yes, so on that topic, so if anyone has a target for us to aim at today, if you could send a private chat to Steve, and he will add it to the list. And Steve, did you add Tina to the list? Or if you could do that, please, so we've got her on there. Good. And Lisa, you're up.
Hi.
Oh, how are you today?
Oh, good. I wanted to tell you about the other day when I had the vision of John Belushi appeared to me.
Oh, yes.
And for the allergy. So, so when I died and came back, I started thinking, I was like, so I got into that unconditional, you know, the childlike state. And I saw myself in the bumblebee costume. And then John Belushi asked me to be in his band with the Blues Brothers with a bee costume on. So I was rocking out, you know, as a little kid. Anyway, so, and then I was like, I looked it up, I was like curious. So actually there was a video of him in the bumblebee suit with Dan Aykroyd, and they were playing in the band, and I was like, wow, that's so cool. I laughed and laughed and laughed. That was a good shift over to.
That is fantastic.
That was so fun. I was like, wow. And then I showed my daughter, and it was hilarious. We laughed our asses off.
Good for you. Good. Thank you for sharing.
So I think it's so incredible that you can change anything into, like, it's so magical. It's just like instant, and it's so cool. It's the coolest thing ever. So I just, you know, I'm so grateful. Is it okay to read really quick?
Absolutely.
Okay, so my love is limitless. We have so much love in this world. We have so much love in our hearts. And sometimes we forget. Sometimes we think there isn't enough, or there is just a small amount. So we hoard what we have, or we are afraid to let go, but we're afraid to let it out. But those of us who are willing to learn realize that the more love we allow to flow out of us, the more there is within us, and the more we receive. It's endless and timeless. Yes.
Spot on. That is absolutely perfect. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Completely true, and such a great reminder. So well done. That is beautiful. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right. And then Swasti, how are you today?
Hello. Accidentally got off Zoom. I'm good, thank you. But in terms of changing memories, I feel a little stuck.
Okay.
So I've been trying to change my mum, and so the visual is changing, but there's, like, I don't know, there's something there. So she doesn't sound sarcastic, but she's taken the form of somebody who I know and who always sounds sarcastic. Like, that's their natural voice.
Right.
So I don't really know if that, but I think it comes from my mum's mum, so my grandma. I think it comes from her. So I was thinking of writing a do justice to her, but I don't know. It's a bit like sticky and strange.
Okay.
I don't have any anger, resentment for her. I feel sympathy for my mum.
Right. Okay, so you feel sympathy for your mum. So how do you know that her mum was sarcastic?
Oh, I don't feel sarcasm for her. I feel anger for my mum's mum.
You feel anger for your mum's mum. That's
Yeah.
perfect. Yes, then definitely a due justice letter to her.
Okay.
Can I jump in real quick? And maybe you can do that due justice letter, but imagine stepping into your mother as a little girl. So allow your mother as a little girl to write that letter.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense, because I think it's also about, like, her education and how she had to work from a young age.
Yeah.
To, like, balance that alongside school and whatever. I think that's where the anger comes from. Yeah. Okay.
Perfect. So thank you, Steve, for that. Yes. So so from your mum's point of view, and then see how that works. See if you're able to then change things. If not, then go back and do it from your point of view. But start from your mum, your little mum, your mum and child. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
And then see if you can make those changes. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds
good.
good.
Make the changes then that your mum did not have to work. as a child. You had the most fantastic childhood.
Yeah, as soon as I found that out, I tried to change my mum's mum, but she wouldn't change very easily.
So that's it. It may be that the due justice should unstick it, and then also change her childhood, your mum's childhood, because if she'd had a different childhood, it should have been completely different as well.
Yeah, I couldn't change that either. So I think that's the stem. I think I found it.
Perfect. Yay, Swasti. Well done.
And I had another question about the career path, still carrying on from that. So I have actually made a decision that I'm going to try for medicine and then specialize as a neurologist. So that took a lot of thought and a lot of brain power. I was so exhausted after that decision, like going round and round in circles. But so I want to get rid of all my limiting beliefs to do with, you know, becoming a doctor and how I feel about that. And I know that's going to be a lot of work, but yeah. So where should I start from?
Okay, all right. So let's have a little look at that. So let's put it on the target list. Steve, if you could add that to the target list, whatever's there about the beliefs about being able to become a doctor. So let's see if you could wave a magic wand and change absolutely anything and everything. What would you change that would get you to be a doctor? That would that change about yourself or about the system or whatever that would help you reach that goal?
I would make myself feel more deserving and more worthy of, well, the success. Yes. And also just that, yeah, the whole process is based on skill, IQ, and hard work. I have the hard work, but I feel like, for me personally, I feel like I'm lacking the IQ, which is not true, but you know, the references are telling me that.
That's right. Yes. Okay. So when was the first time that you did an IQ test and that you found out what the score was?
I can't actually remember, but I did create a memory ages ago, like to get admission into an Indian school, like a really good school, which I did go to. I think you needed to do some sort of exam, so I made it into an IQ test, and I got 100% on that.
Good, good, good. That's great. And about how old are you in that new memory?
Probably around 5, 6.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
And now let's look at your actual childhood. And is there anything left there that that indicates that that's not true? That you don't have a high IQ, that you wouldn't get 100% on a test?
Yeah, there's a lot there, but well, I feel a lot, but I can't see a lot. As in, I can't find the references, but I know there's a lot.
Okay, that's great. That's all right. So that feeling that you have, just tell me briefly what that feeling is. Can you give me an indication of what that feels like?
Yeah, it's like a weight. It's like I want to feel worthy.
Yes.
Like everybody else feels worthy. Like some people who get there feel like, yeah, I deserve this. Yeah. I worked so hard for it. So did I, but I don't feel that.
Yes. Okay, very good. So now let's go to your parents. So you were, when you were little, and your parents, what's there now when you think of you and your parents when you were a child?
Well, I changed the memory. Yes, this is the first one that comes to mind now. Is my parents hugging me and telling me how they missed me after 7 years.
Okay, good, 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 good. Well done for doing that. Okay, so that's a stepping stone. So now you want that they never left. They never left you. They took you with you. Either you all stayed, or they took you with you, with them. They have never been without you. They would not do that. They couldn't do that. They just can't manage to cope without you.
Okay. So I've tried to change this one so many times, and I've discussed this with you so many times.
That's okay.
I feel like I'm changing bits of it, but not the whole story. I think I need to fit the pieces into one story for my brain to see, like, oh yeah, this makes sense now.
All right, let's do that. So what pieces are left?
Well, so there's one about calling them and saying, when are you going to come back? And they come back instantly.
Okay.
And there's one.
So let's stop at that one. So that's a new memory you've got, calling them and asking them to come back, and they come back instantly.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, that's very good. Again, that's a really important stepping stone memory. So it's good that you did that. But now you want the new memory to be that it's not, now let's just see what would be a good option for that final memory. So here, you're speaking on the phone to them, but they're in the next room. And you're saying, you know, I'm here, you can just come in and speak to me, but they're busy doing something. So you know how that, like today, Steve was in, when he calls our garden office, he was sitting in the garden with his computer, working from there, finishing off the recording from yesterday. And I'm literally, you know, we're within talking distance because we had the door open, the garden door open, and I'm not far. And he sent me a Facebook message to say the video's done, and you know, how's it going in your office? And we had a little back and forth there, a little bit of fun. So that kind of thing where it's a funny phone call, and they are there.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, something like that. Does anything pop into your mind that would do? Or
Yeah. So actually, when I say they came back instantly, there's also a reaction of them, like. Almost like a rejection. So when I showed, I think I discussed this with you as well, I showed them my work and they were like sarcastically saying, "Oh, well done."
Okay, all right. So that I remember that bit. So that's the old memory still? The original memory with
No, I think it's a stepping, I don't know. But they didn't even look at it initially.
Oh, right. Okay. So the stepping stone is that they look at it and then they say, well done, but it's at the moment it's coming out as sarcastic. Is that okay? I get that. Right. So let's go to other, preferably earlier memories of sarcasm. How do you know that it's sarcastic? What is it about it?
Yeah, it's happening quite a lot actually. So that must be something. Yeah, nothing comes to mind right now, but I guess I could work on it by myself.
If you can find that. And now you mentioned someone else who was sarcastic.
Oh yeah.
Saying it, that was your grandmother, was it?
No, this is somebody who I met in Cambridge, like just when I went to visit.
Perfect. Okay, so that person that you met in Cambridge who is seems to be sarcastic, if you were to think about it, who do they remind you of from your childhood? Anybody come to mind? And even if it's someone who's not sarcastic, it doesn't matter.
Well, probably a teacher.
Okay, good.
Or my cousin. Both of them come to mind.
Both of them come to mind. Perfect. Okay, so when you think of that teacher, what's there?
Oh, she was very skinny and bony, and she was so, yeah, she was sarcastic.
Perfect. All right. So that's, you want to change her. So make her funny, fun, you know, make her a stand-up comedian, you know, or whatever. Make her fun and funny instead of sarcastic, if you can. All right. And then now your cousin, when you think of your cousin, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
He's really arrogant and cocky. So whenever he's like, "Oh, well done" to everybody else, he's sarcastic.
Right. Okay. So let's change him as well. So again, you may need to change his childhood in order to change him, because arrogance, a lot of people think arrogance comes from overconfidence or, you know, loving themselves too much or that, and it's not. It's the opposite. Arrogance comes from insecurity. It's just another expression of insecurity, and it's trying to make up for the insecurity. So a person becomes arrogant in order to cope with, you know, to try and counteract the feelings of unworthiness.
Well, that makes sense, because he came from a really like unsafe background. Like he was used to live in a really unsafe place.
Right.
Yeah, he wasn't respected because his parents basically like sent him away. So that's why we live together. Yeah, that makes sense now.
That makes perfect sense. So perhaps rewrite his childhood so that his parents never sent him away. Same as you, both of you came from, you know, were raised with the parents completely doting on you and always with you, always supporting you.
So if his parents are hard to change, well, I tried changing because this is my auntie and I know her well, and she lives through quite hardship. So
Yeah.
what should I do?
Change their childhoods as well.
Okay.
Because this goes, so, you know, it doesn't mean you have to change absolutely everybody, but whoever you find is sticky, that you can't change their childhood, because, you know, that's the link there. Like I know when Steve works with one-to-one clients, one of the first parts of the foundation work he does is change generations and cultures.
Okay.
So, because sometimes it's a cultural thing. So do whatever it takes to make it you know, that you come from a long line of happy, healthy, wealthy, relaxed, fun, enthusiastic, affectionate, loving, kind, compassionate people.
Okay.
All right. So whatever will get you there. And again, you don't have to change absolutely everything. Just change what is contradicting that or stopping you from just creating that. Does that sound good?
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. Thank you.
Good job, Swasti. I'm so proud.
I know it took a long time, sorry.
Not at all. Not at all. Because here's the thing. This is why I love working with groups so much, is because you and I are having this conversation and going through stuff, it's helping others who may not even be on this call, but are going to watch the recording.
I found that yesterday. Yeah. Even with the no content thing, it was really, really good. And the people so confident. I was like, I want to be like you.
Perfect. That's wonderful. I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you, Swasti.
Thank you.
You're welcome, love. And Katrina. Hi, Katrina.
Hi, Odile.
How are you today?
Yes, I'm good, I think. Yes.
Good.
Okay.
And any questions or comments?
Yeah. Okay, the first thing is the update with Mum. I so love the new memory with
Good.
the connection
Yep.
between her and I, the laughter. That's so good. And
Good.
the cough is definitely less.
Good.
And anytime,
Your cough is less, you say?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good.
And anytime there is anything, there's no disapproval, there's no judging, there's no nothing. I'm at peace with it.
Fantastic.
So it's definitely.
Yes. Yay. Well done, you. And keep doing that. So keep practicing the memories of your mum and you with the laughter, and it'll just get better and better. That's wonderful. Good job.
Okay.
And for anyone watching this or who's on the call, sorry, Katrina, but anyone listening to this and wondering what we're talking about, it was, I believe, episode 60. So 2 days ago that we did this work on the cough. So sorry, Katrina, I just wanted to.
Okay. Because I didn't have the video from yesterday, I was looking back over videos.
Yes. Good.
And I came across something that's really interesting, and it's not sorted. So using Swatsi's word there at the very end, I want to feel confident and comfortable and relaxed while I'm sitting here in my body waiting, but instead I'm uncomfortable.
Okay.
In front of the screen, especially when I have to wait. I still find myself judging myself and others. So 2 memories as I was sitting here listening has popped up. Headmistress at boarding school has asked my friend to read at Mass. She said yes. And I broke down into tears and panicked and said, oh, please, no, I can't do that. And then before that one, there was a memory, same friend. It was primary school, the hall, and she was up on stage and forgot her lines. I reacted to this and said, thank God I was not up there with everyone judging me.
Yeah.
So,
yes, that's
Odile, solve the problem, the puzzle, please.
of course. So, so that makes perfect sense, because in that moment in primary school where you saw your friend forget her lines and you thought, I am so glad that's not me, that little you, the subconscious of that little you, made a decision. That is never going to be me. I'm going to protect myself from that, whatever that is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is why then you're hyper alert. What am I looking like? What am I saying? What are people thinking? Because that experience, and that experience was based on whatever references you already had. So we need to go there as well. But when you saw that, when you witnessed that situation, that was when that decision was made. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah. Yes. Fantastic. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So now let's look at what references that little you already had that gave you that reaction of, I'm so glad that's not me, as opposed to, oh, that's funny, or nothing at all, which, you know, could have been, which other children may have had with different references. So let's look earlier than that. So before that experience, did you have any experiences that come to mind with being judged or witnessing someone being judged? And if you don't, that's okay. We can go elsewhere.
Well, there was something popped up there, and you always say, go with it.
Yes.
You know, which is, I think, totally irrelevant.
Good.
But someone else being judged was my my brother. Mum had given him extra money to you know, go to school, and on the way home he was supposed to buy butter, for example. So
Right.
he was playing in the yard, and the money fell out of his pocket.
Yes.
And the money fell out of his pocket, and so school was over, and must have checked his pocket. He didn't see the money, wasn't there, but it was on the headmaster's desk. So he was, as he was walking past, he lifted the money and he took it with him because it was his money. It was the same pound. He'd lost a pound. He took it,
Right.
but the next day at school, the headmaster, you know, called him a thief, called a whole racket about the thing. Then Mum came to the school the next morning and said he had to apologise for calling her son
Good. Yeah.
a thief. So I think I don't know. What's that got to do with me judging myself?
But that's okay, because remembering that the subconscious doesn't use logic or reason. So whatever it was about that created a reference in your subconscious of danger, of being judged, or something people think of, or whatever. So let's have a look at that. So when the headmaster had a go at, called him a thief, what do you remember when you go to that scene? What's there?
But I mustn't have been in the classroom. I just must have listened. You see, he was younger.
Yes. Okay.
So I must have been away to boarding school, and then I'm being told the story.
Good. Okay.
But
so
I was
say, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
No, but I don't know.
Okay. So when you were told the story, so in other words, how do you know this happened? When you think about, how do I know that happened? What's there? The telling, or did your brain form a picture?
I just remember Mummy telling the story.
Perfect. Perfect. Now let's look at that. So when you remember your mum telling you the story, what's the expression on her face?
No, I can't get an expression.
That's okay. What's the feeling when you think of that memory of her telling you the story about what happened? What do you feel there? What feelings are in that memory?
But I think they're good because, I mean, I was so proud of Mummy for standing up. She was really, really, really angry with the headmaster. Like, how dare he? Did you know, all of that?
There
And huh?
There it is. So, okay, so see that link there. So it's the headmaster who is being judged by your primary carer, the person most important for keeping you alive. Do you see that? So the headmaster was the one who was receiving the judgment, which in your subconscious is interpreted as danger. Does that make sense?
Okay, yes.
So you witnessed.
You are excellent.
You witnessed your mother's reaction and how vicious it was, how extreme it was to someone who did something that she didn't think he should have done. So your little subconscious went, I've got to be really careful because I don't want that to be me. Do you see that?
Yeah.
And so then you saw the friend or the little girl on stage in that situation. I'm so glad that's not me. And so on.
Okay, yeah.
You got that?
Yes, I think this is a miracle.
Right. It's not what you expect, right? But it's very clear once you've made that connection, it's like, yeah, that makes perfect sense, right? Okay, good. So that's.
And I just wanted to jump in and congratulate Katrina for going with her gut, even though you felt like that initial, it's like, well, there obviously doesn't seem like there's a connection here. There was the connection.
Yes. So thank you, Steve, for saying that, because yes, well done, Katrina, for saying it. And it's such a great example for everybody else as well. You know, if the thought or the memory or the feeling or whatever it is, the reference comes to mind that appears to not make sense or have nothing to do with it, take it take it anyway and go, okay, well, let's look at it and see. Because yeah, bearing in mind the subconscious doesn't use, it's a great example of how the subconscious does not use logic or reason, can't put the pieces together the way the conscious mind does. So well done you for bringing that up and for going with it and for sharing it, because I know that that's going to be very useful, very helpful for a lot of people.
Okay.
So now,
can we change the memory? Do I have to change that memory? Yeah, all those memories?
yes. So what I would do is I would do a stepping stone of where your mum is telling you about what happened, but she's saying it in a way that is, there was a misunderstanding. The headmaster, he was just doing his job. He thought had taken it, but it was actually his. It wasn't. So I went down there and I explained it to him, and he apologized, which is good. And so she's being completely reasonable, completely understanding, compassionate, and kind. All right, that's your stepping stone. Make sure you practice that 3 times in a row, and then you go to where that never happened. So walk past, he picked up the money, and the headmaster went, oh, yep, that's yours. Or perhaps the headmaster said, oh, your money's here, and he took it, so it was a non-event. But it's very important to do that piece with your mum first, where she's being kind, compassionate, understanding, relaxed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Katrina, for sharing that. Really appreciate it.
No, thank you, Dave.
You're very welcome, sweetheart. And hopefully that you've got a good, clear way of changing it now as well.
Okay, yes.
Good. All right. So, Steve, is there anything in the chat that I need to?
I've got one that I want to share, and I've already asked permission. So this is coming from somebody off camera. I'd like to share a target: feeling allowed to have a new car.
Okay.
In fact, feeling allowed to have something easily for me without feeling embarrassed. In my family, being happy and not stressed is suspicious and not normal.
Yeah.
I'm changing a lot of memories and do justice letters these days, but I need urgently to have another car, and I see that I don't act to find a financial solution for that.
Oh.
So I thought that that would be a good one to share, because I know that that was certainly one of my programs.
Yeah.
And I think it's common for a lot of people. So I thought, addressing that one would be a good one.
Yes, that's great. Thank you, Steve, and thank you to whoever shared that. So yes, that program of not being happy, being suspicious, it's suspicious if someone's happy and if things are easy. That is a very common one. Lisa's just said one of my programs too. Definitely me as well. My family were very suspicious of anyone who was happy or getting things too easily. And so now, and the reason I'm saying that is because I do not have that anymore. In fact, it's the complete opposite now. I think everyone should always have everything easily and be happy. And the purpose of that is to say it's absolutely possible to change it. So well done for the due justice letters and changing the memories. So let's look at the car a little bit more deeply. So what I would say, and I know because you're off camera, I'm going to pose these questions, and you can either just take these questions and then do it yourself, or you can answer the questions to me in the chat and I can take you through it that way. So whichever you prefer. So I would ask, what does having a car mean to you? So in other words, when you think, like, let's say now you fast forwarded in time and now you have the car, what's there? What does it mean? And how will things change? So how will you feel? What will you be able to do that you can't do now? Or what will you have to do that you don't have to do if you don't have a car? That kind of thing. So what does it mean? As for the having something new and having something easily, that's of course a very clear one. You want to make sure that in addition to changing childhood memories, you've changed your family's, your parents and your grandparents' childhoods, so that everything has always come easily to your family. You come from a long line of people who just seem to, there's that phrase of, everything they touch turns to gold. In South Africa, we have a phrase that I didn't know wasn't all over the world, but when I used it in England, this person just fell about laughing. But you've landed with your bum in the butter. Okay, so whatever they do, they land with their bum in the butter, which means everything always works out perfectly. It's easy, it's wonderful. So that's what you want, that you come from a long line of people who life is effortless and they have abundance and everything always works out for them. So doing whatever it takes to create that whole new generational historical timeline. And you may find that depending on what else is there, you may find you need to change the whole culture that you grew up. So if you grew up in a culture that or religious beliefs or a country, anything like that, where hard work and struggle was revered, and it was so. In my family, struggling in all kinds of ways, physically struggling, working hard, not having anything, going without food and going without this, that, and the other. That there was great pride in that. So it wasn't about complaining about it as much as it was about almost bragging about it. Look how much I've struggled. And that is where just learned, they were conditioned to get their value, their actual value from hard suffering, struggling, hard work, all of that kind of going without. So if that's the case, then change that completely to where, of course, they are being praised for finding solutions that are so easy. So the children are being praised by the parents. Well done, you figured that out. Look how you've made it so easy. Well done, you didn't have to do much. And encouraging, the parents are encouraging the children to relax and play. So the child offers, oh, I'll help with the chores. No, you relax, enjoy yourself. Somebody else will do it, or I'll do it, or whatever. So it's encouraging the children. You make the most of your time as a child, that kind of thing. So you want to reinforce those beliefs, those new beliefs, by supporting them with evidence in the form of new childhood memories like that, where they're talking to each other. We're very, very lucky in this family. We are so lucky because things have always been easy for us. And that love, adding the love and connection between them as well. All right, so really relate to the point about being comfortable, Katrina, and being pleased it's not you when certain situations happen. And then, so this person says, having a car means freedom, possibility to keep on working and not being trapped here. I live in a small town and I need to drive to work, but I know that I was not allowed for asking something as a child. My bank is like my father who always said no. That's perfect. Good job for spotting that. So your father always saying no. Now, when you think of your father always saying no, the reason he was always saying no is because he had some kind of whatever references were going on for him, which were created from his childhood and possibly his parents' childhoods. So changed whatever you know about your father's childhood that was negative, change that, and then just create a whole new childhood for him. And especially, if you don't know a lot about his childhood, just create a new one where it's all fabulous. He always got what he wanted. So you can create little memories of just short scenes of him in a shop with his parents going, can I have that? And they go, yes, sweetheart, of course. Which one would you like? That kind of thing. So create little memories like that, little bookmark memories like that. And then of course, do the same. So if that's the way he grew up, then when he became an adult and he became a father, he would have been like that with you. And not just you, so you asking and him saying, yes, of course. So they don't just say yes, they are enthusiastic about it. Of course, yes, I'd love to do that for you. You should have that. And then secondly, where you don't even have to ask, but they go, sweetheart, would you like one of these? Which one would you like? And in addition to that, and very importantly, is that there is plenty of affection, praise, encouragement, enthusiasm, and fun. I know I need to work with Steve one-on-one as I made these changes and something always stays stuck. Yes. So working with Steve one-to-one will definitely completely change that and a whole lot more. So I definitely recommend that. And in the meantime, see if you can find out where the stickiness is, if you can, on your own. So when I try to change, or when I thought I changed that, now when I go back, how do I know it hasn't changed? Or what's stopping me from just imagining it differently? When I try to imagine it differently, what happens? So become aware of what thoughts come up, what feelings come up, any memories that come up. Again, like we discovered with Katrina, even if it's doesn't appear to have anything in common, treat it as a reference. So I hope that helps. Would you say that if no was a constant in your life, that would transfer to your bank account? Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. So you know, the whatever your bank account situation is, and not for everybody, it just depends on how your subconscious is expressing those programs and those that conditioning. So for example, having less than nothing in my banking, I lived off overdraft always, and it was always very close, and sometimes it went over and that. And so in my case, it was recreating that state of they want something of me and I don't have it to give them. So for someone else with the no, you know, no, you can't have that, no, you can't have that. Now that the parents aren't saying no anymore, now the bank account, the bank, the job, the people, you know, the income, money in general is now playing the role of the parents to keep you in alignment with that. I'm not allowed to have it, or whatever that program is. So you change that program. So put the money issues, whatever it is, pin that for a moment, put it to the side, and go to the childhood, change that, change their childhoods, culture, whatever needs changing, so that it's always yes. Or you're never told no. Yes, absolutely you can have. Now, you might want to do a stepping stone if you were told no in a very angry way, or you were punished. You might want to do a stepping stone where the person is saying, sorry, sweetheart, but unfortunately we can't do that now. So that you're being told in a very kind, compassionate, you know, understanding, caring way, stepping stone. And then the final memory is you're always told yes. So I hope that helps. Good. Very good. You're very welcome. Yay. All right, everybody. So let's go into the target section. So Steve, if you could send me the targets, thank you. And take a deep breath and either close your eyes or leave them open, whichever you prefer. And go into that superpower state. However you do that, by repeating your word or phrase, using your anchor, or by focusing in on hugging your subject. Start to feel that feeling in your chest as your heart starts to open and expand. That expansion feeling, and allowing that light or energy to shine out from your heart. Very good. And now allow that light or energy to spread down to your toes, up to the top of your head, and out to your fingertips. So you're now full of that light, that energy, that love. Good job. And now allow that light or energy to fill each of the 50 trillion cells that make up your body. Love each cell just for existing. Very good. And now fill your subject with that light, that energy. Love them just for existing. And now imagine that they don't want to be with you, or they don't have the qualities you love and admire. And keep them filled with that light, that energy anyway. Love them anyway. Very, very good. And now let's go to Lisa. Fill Lisa with that light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Lisa just for existing. Very good. And now allow that light, that energy to overflow from Lisa and fill the relatives of hers who have health concerns. Fill those relatives with the same light, that energy, that love, exactly as they are. Fill the health concerns with that light, that energy, loving it all exactly as it is without needing it to change. Shining the light into any darkness. Loving them just for existing. Very good. And now allow that light, that energy to overflow from Lisa and fill the financial circumstances and events of the whole planet. Everyone on the planet, whatever their circumstances are, whatever their financial circumstances are, love it all exactly as it is, filling it all with that light, shining the light into any darkness. Good job. And now let's go to Tina. Fill Tina with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Tina just for existing. Very good. Now allow that light, that energy to overflow from Tina and fill her workplace and everyone in it. Everyone, everything in Tina's workplace, shine that light, that energy into all of it, no matter what. Loving it all anyway and filling it all with that light, that energy, that love. Shining the light into any darkness. Good job. All right, and now to Swasti. Fill Swasti with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Swasti just for existing. Very good. And allow that light, that energy to fill any limiting beliefs that Swasti has and wherever they come from. Love them exactly as they are, no matter what, shining that light into any darkness, loving it all anyway, whether they change or not. Very, very good. And now to Katrina. Fill Katrina with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Katrina just for existing. Very good. And allow that light, that energy to overflow from Katrina and fill everything in her life, everything and everyone, including those original experiences with the headmaster and her mum. All of that, fill it all with that light, that energy, that love, shining that light into any darkness. Very, very good. And fill that part of Katrina that judges, that criticizes or judges. Fill that part of Katrina with that love, that light, that energy. Love the part of Katrina that judges. Love that part of her exactly as it is. Even if it continues to judge, love it exactly as it is, no matter what. Very good. And now to Chris. Fill Chris with that same light, that energy, from the tips of her toes to the top of her head and out to her fingertips. Love Chris just for existing. And now allow that light, that energy, to fill the part of Chris that procrastinates. Part of Chris that procrastinates rewriting the new timeline or story, whatever that is, even if she never rewrites it, even if she never does it. Love it all exactly as it is. Love that part of her exactly as it is, no matter what. Love the procrastination, love whatever's causing it, shining that light into any darkness. Good job. And now to the person who needs the new car. Fill that person with that same light, that energy, that love. From the tips of their toes to the top of their head and out to their fingertips, love that person just for existing. And now love the negative feelings of having something new, whatever that is, wherever it comes from. Love it all exactly as it is, shining that light into any darkness. And now, whether they get the car or not. So imagine not getting the car and love that exactly as it is. Shining that light into the darkness, love it exactly as it is and whatever may happen. So whether they get a new car or they don't get a new car, love it all anyway. That's the power. Very good. And now to the person who, with the friend and the colon. So filling that person with light and love and energy. From the tips of their toes to the top of their head and out to their fingertips, love that person just for existing. And now allow that person, the light and energy from that person to overflow and fill their dear friend. Oh, I see. The friend is the colon. Okay. Allow that lighter energy to fill their colon in particular. With that light, that energy. No matter what, love their colon. No matter what happens, love it exactly as it is. Shining that light into the darkness, loving it all exactly as it is. Very, very good. And now to everyone who's off camera. All those who are on this call today who are off camera, fill them with that light, that energy from the tips of their toes to the top of their head and out to their fingertips. Love them just for existing, no matter what. Good job. And now think of yourself later today and fill that version of you with that light, that energy, that love, no matter what. No matter what you'll be doing or saying or feeling or experiencing, love that version of you exactly as you are. And now allow your heart to open even more and receive the love, the light, the energy from everyone else in this group, including me. Filling you with that light, that energy, and loving you exactly as you are. And now pick one target that triggers you. So something that triggers you, either in your life or in the world, a person, a circumstance, an event, and fill that target with the same light, this energy, exactly as it is, without needing it to change, shining this light into the darkness. Feeling that love, feeling that power. Very, very good. And you can open your eyes if you have them closed. And how was that for everyone? Good. Good job. Very, very good. You're very, very welcome. All right. And then just a reminder that if for anyone who does want to find out about working one-to-one with Steve, you'll find the link to book a free complimentary consultation call in the description of this video. We'll put the link in there for anybody who would like a free consultation call to find out about working with us one-to-one. You're very welcome, everybody. Very welcome. Good job. Working tomorrow, too late to join, and next week I'll work in Paris. Miss you all. I'll try to be on some of the calls and I'll listen to the recording for others. Have a great day. Thank you very much. And we love all of you very much. And so same time, same place tomorrow. And have a fantastic rest of your day. Be kind to yourselves. Bye-bye now.